Yeah, let's listen to some music. There's restaurant about people getting close and moving on the rest of it. We're not going to chat the speeches out too much while you
So in this way, look, it's the best thing to say. But on the case of what Lucy just said, she has the backing of the public. So as soon as you do drastic actions in terms of what can be considered domestic terrorism, like going in alleys, migrant thingy boats, it doesn't get the public stable. So the best power we have is our voting power, which we currently right now have, if you look at the dominance of Reform UK, and also our protesting power, the ability to statically protest wherever we want, regardless of where we are. Not really. I mean, I believe in a broad church conservative movement. I do believe in unity. It's the most pragmatic solution. Now, under what platform is really the question. So right now, the reason why Reform UK is so popular is because of a two-party system that has disenfranchised voters. Now, the critique is, look, we have the Conservative Party under their 10-year completely failed under their promises to have sensible migration and, of course, benefit the people who are paying into the system, right? They completely went on the reverse of that. Come David Cameron, we had increases in migration, and we also had an increase in the benefit bill. Yes.
I do want to get back to the way I see reform, because I was quite good for the British, but the way I see them is just they're the new Conservatives.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to. They're composed.
And I look back, I mean, I'm only in my early 20s, but even I look back to about 2015, and we saw some parties that were trying to deal with this migration problem, and the leaders got arrested, people got debanked, and you never heard from them again. So my concern is, all we have, no matter who gets in, Labour, Reform, Lib Dem, or a new party, it's going to be the same thing, because ultimately the instructions are coming from somewhere else. We're just voting for a representative.
You're just having a party which is composed of the factors of the party that you don't like the affiliation. So there's a few things. One, firstly, Reform UK and what they're doing. It's like kind of that skit from Mighty Python's The Life of Brian. You ever see that scene where it says, "You the people's run every day." Yeah, it's that. So their understanding of the political parties is going to lead into an infinite regress of splitters and people who differ somewhat. So there needs to be a broad church conservative movement pragmatically. I don't think it can be on the Reform platform. I think it needs to be on a party that is comprised of different people who hold to this kind of set of essential dogma, but disagree in some certain areas. It needs to be democratic. It needs to be a voting system. It needs to not be opposed of one person's personality or ego, and it needs to be a fresh new mind out of the political career game. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. The trouble is, in this current system, how would that happen? Anytime someone tries to set something like that, it gets shut down immediately. Anytime it gets into the much momentum with the social media platforms, we can't get to Parliament, they make it as impossible as they can. And then I'd also like to touch on the dinghy issue, the public dinghies. If they're in France, ultimately, I feel this needs to be dealt with, because if things aren't dealt with in one way or another, be it a fact or something that's extreme, people are going to get more and more frustrated, because all they see is they get their hopes up, the party's listening to them, and then they backstab them, and we're just going to go in the cycle, and then you will have domestic terrorism, because people are getting backed into the corner, and it's not going to be brilliant.
Yeah, it's not going to be brilliant. Look, what needs to happen right now, and this is what kind of the organisers of this event kind of argued for, its unity, right? So right now we have Advance UK, UKIP, even on the extreme end, like Homeland, you have so many right-wing, I call them ideologically pure because they're more like the Corbynite right, they're like ideologically driven conservative parties. Figureheads like Russo, all of them need to kind of unite under one party. Unfortunately, the reason why they won't is because they all have their egos, and for someone like me, I've done this for a long time, and even on a smaller level, I've kind of seen that if you reach a certain level of popularity, you have this degree of doing something in a very particular way, and that's why a lot of people can't really work with one another. So yeah, there needs to be, I like to call them the Corbyn right, and it's not a bad license to say that they are actually driven by principles on the conservative front. They all need to unite, because right now, like Advance UK has done pretty well as a small conservative party. So if all of them were to unite, it would have done very well in terms of voting power, because what you're seeing is now people are being disenfranchised by reform. That's what needs to happen. It can happen, but realistically, there is a possibility.
I don't think it's necessarily ego for them, and it does play a factor. But I think the trouble is, the right is so divided over opinion. It's like, well, some go, well, this is solution, some other things solution, and the second they butt heads, they lose all interest in going, you're this evil thing, you're this evil thing, you're actually that.
It's not ego.
They're not willing to unite.
It's when you have such an eye of office and think so highly of yourself, it's not ego. It's just realistically you do things in very particular ways. That's why and there's no kind of leeway. That's why I'm kind of gentle when it comes to what I believe in, because I know that how old you are to the same conclusion. So there's a degree of you need to be pragmatic in big compromise.
My question would be, where would the compromise be? What do you think are the policies that need to be introduced that would actually start addressing this issue to calm tensions down and fix it?
Yeah, so right now, let's look at immigration. It's totally appropriate. So firstly, we need to take the Calais agreement that the Conservative Party proposed, that there would be an immigration centre that would kind of handle the claims of asylum seekers. Now, the reason why this would happen is firstly, so few issues on the left that there aren't safe and legal ways to come to this country. Secondly, it would reduce the possibility that people come through dinghies into here, because now they'll be vilified by the people on the left, even because they have a perfectly safe legal route to come from a safe country to another safe country. And thirdly, we need to have this understanding, well, if I don't hold to a stronger opinion than you do, therefore we can't do it, right? And we need to go back to like perception choice, that kind of understanding, because we look at the very extreme side of like the Homeland Party, for example. There are people even within that party that now leave because they believe their migration policy is too extreme, even though they believe that we should essentially export anyone. Extreme Homeland, I mean, this is the like incels online who just believe that deporting anyone is the solution to everything.
So you'd be against large-scale deportations, or is it just...
No, mass deportations is fine. It's just more that it shouldn't be at the main center point of your policy making, and also it can't be seen colloquially as a solution to everything. And it needs to be one of the main tickets that you kind of push in a general election, given that people convene it. But the Homeland Party is too ethno-nat for me. I don't believe in ethno-nationalism. I don't think the UK was historically ever held in that position. That makes an interesting thing to me.
It hasn't historically been that way. I mean, even if you look at the demographic charts, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but
demographically, yes, we still natively British, but it's not
when we say believing the UN Refugee Convention, which is a different thing from the ECHR, we're always hearing of the ECHR. The main one is the UN Refugee Convention. That's what legalises what is in effect illegal entry. So we read the UN Refugee Convention and we say, you come in across the English Channel, you come in via the land border with Northern Ireland, you come in as a stowaway. These are all illegal forms of entry, and you will go to prison. And imagine if we said that. How quickly is that going to dry up? That's going to dry up within a week. And that's going to